Brother Ben here. Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to your power call. And we are on part 2 of Did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Change Direction? If you didn't listen to yesterday's, or you didn't get a chance to catch all of yesterday's call, please go back at the end of today and catch the rest of that so that you can take notes and not be behind. For those who may be here for your very first time, make sure you take notes and be ready to share at the end if you're here for your very first time. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Man, so I got some AirPods up here that missing a brother. Oh, no, he's not. That's interesting. Need to charge these up. All right, let's get right to it. Once again, also, if you're not inside of the community family, go to www.thepowercall.net, www.thepowercall.net to get on in here and create a profile. This is where you'll be able to discuss things inside the community. This is where you'll find out about our in-person events. This is where you'll find out about programs that we got coming that's going to be super duper valuable for you all. I'm excited for you all to hear what we've been coming up with. Man, it's such an amazing thing, and you don't want to miss what's coming up in May. You probably won't know what's going to happen in May if you're not inside the community. So just a hint to the wise. All right, let's go and get this lecture up. Again, if you're just now coming in, please take notes so that you can have something to share at the end. We're going to dialogue about it. So make sure you take some good notes for things that stands out for you. All right, here we go.
Bear witness that that man gave us a straight path. Was the most successful of any leader or teacher to come among us in terms of reform. Who gave Elijah Muhammad direction? Come on. Master Farad Muhammad. What did Elijah Muhammad say his aim was, his mission was? His mission, he said, is to give life to the dead. Is that right? How do you give life to the dead, the apostle? The scripture says, to know God and his son Jesus is life. Yes, sir. You can't be dead if you know God. You can't be dead if you know Christ. The problem is you have God in name, Christ in name, and still in a grave of ignorance. Yes, sir. To know God, to know Christ, to know self, to know the time and what must be done, that will give life to the dead. The direction now is resurrection of black people. Listen carefully to me now. The direction is, come out of her, my people. Moses did not integrate the children of Israel with Pharaoh. You ready? Now, you may not like this. It really don't make no difference. You just got to hear it. You with your white sweethearts, your white husbands and your white wives, and your white boyfriends and girlfriends. Come out of her, my people. Well, you don't have to come. If you ain't God's people, stay. But if you're God's people, come out. What do you mean, come out? Come out of their names. Johnson and Jones and Smith, Culpepper, O'Reilly, O'Toole, O'Fool, whatever the name is that white folk give you. Come out of it. What the hell do you look like in 1993 calling yourself by the white man's name? You are a fool. Reverend, but a fool. Doctor, but a fool. You don't go around wearing the slave master's name in 1993. That's a shame. What is your name? Mary Johnson. They already know you sick. They already know. Your name tell them. Oh, man, Johnson, that's my nigga. Ooh. What else you got to come out of? You got to come out of Christianity. Wait. I'm going to talk to you straight up hard. Because if I never see you again, you will never be able to say that you didn't hear it today from these lips. Have I changed my direction? What do I mean you got to come out of Christianity? See, what the white man taught you ain't Jesus' teaching. That's why you ain't got no power in it. See, he mixed up truth with falsehood. Look at the church. The church could be the true instrument of liberation of the people. But the gospel in the church is watered down. Talk to me. You know you scared as hell to teach the real gospel. Because if you're going to teach the real gospel, you're going to have to condemn this world. And how in the hell can you condemn a world that you're trying to be a part of at the same time? You can't serve two masters. Oh, but I hear you. God so loved the world, the hell he did, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him should have eternal life. Reverend, let me talk to you. Because every preacher needs to be preached to today. Because, listen to me good. Because if you deceive the people in God's name, he will cut you down today. God couldn't love a world that he prepared the destruction of before the world even came in existence. Listen to me and think. When he destroyed it by water, what did he tell you? Fire next time? Well, how you gonna put fire on something that you love? You love your baby? Go burn her up tonight. That what you love? God don't love this world. James, the apostle, said the love of this world is enmity with God. Hatred. You love the filth of the world. You love the garbage of the world. You compromise with the world and talk about Jesus. Jesus was in the world, but he was not of the world. Jesus came offering us a better world than this one. No. God so loved you that were destroyed by the world that he gave, and I put that in quotes, his only begotten Son. That if you believe in him, you would not perish, but you could come out of the world. And that's why Jesus said, I am the door. You don't need a door unless you're either going out of something or going into something. And if Jesus is the door and you go by the door, you come out of the world, and by him you enter into the kingdom of God. Talk to me. Now, why do I say you got to get out of old Christianity? Y'all all right? I'm fine myself. Because white folk, when they fixed the religion in 325 AD, when the first Vatican Council was called at a place called Nice, N-I-C-E, they determined, because of confusion, what they were going to believe. And that became the base of the new doctrine, the Apostles' Creed. Come on. Constantine, who was a Roman emperor who was converted to Christianity, but he had roots in paganism, and he didn't want to come all the way to Jesus. So he mixed some of the pagan worship into the teachings of Christianity. And that's why you have Easter, where you put on all these flowery clothes. Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. And that's why you have Christmas, where you go and cut a tree down out of the forest and deck it with silver and gold and put presents under the tree. That ain't got nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. That's paganism incorporated into religion. I want you to listen to me good now. And if you doubt me and call me a liar, go check your library out. You don't read, go check it out. The true teaching of Christ is what you want. That true teaching gives you power. You notice when I come to your church, I preach Christ better than most Christian preachers. Do you know why? I know it. Wait. And look at the power in my gospel. Why do you think people want to hear me? I ain't got no choir. This ain't no choir back here. Come on, brother. Sing. Get the bass and the guitar and hit the drum. Come on. You ain't gonna hear that in here. Jesus didn't travel with no group. Strike up the band, baby. Hit that guitar, lay it on them. Jesus didn't have nothing but the word, brother. And you don't need nothing but the word of God. And that word of truth will revive you. It will give you power to overcome the world. I'm not saying to anybody who loves the church, come out of the church. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying come out of the true message of Jesus Christ. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying come out of the false image of Jesus, the false teaching of Jesus, where you make him a God beside God. Jesus never exalted himself above his Father. Come on. You can't find in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John where Jesus equaled himself to his Father. He was always submissive. Listen to his words. That I hear, that shall I speak. What did God tell Moses? I'm going to raise up a prophet from among their brethren like unto you, and I'm going to put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. What did Jesus say? Whatsoever the Father speaks to me, whatever I hear, that I speak. Man, that Jesus, that was a great one. But he wasn't white. Sorry about that, y'all. I know what you got on your wall. You can go home today and look at it real good and take it down. That's not the true image of Jesus Christ. Come on, Christian. He had hair like lamb's wool. He had feet like burnished brass. He was one of us, y'all. Now you got to get ready for this. Buckle yourself in your seats now. Make sure it's tight and low across your waist. Because we're going to hit a few bumps and I don't want you thrown out your chair. You are the people that Jesus is to rise from. He would be raised from the dead. What's wrong, Christian, is that the way white folks have put the Bible, they make you look back in time for something that would be happening right while you're alive. And you would be looking at it and don't know what you're looking at because you're looking back in time. Look at the world. Does the world need Jesus? Look at us. Do we need Jesus? Do we need somebody to open our eyes, unstop our ears, loosen the knot in our tongue, raise us from a dead level to a living perpendicular, cleanse us from paralysis and palsy and leprosy of the mind? Don't we need a Jesus? Sure do. But if he came to his own, would you be able to recognize him? No, because you're looking for a white man. You're looking for somebody to pop down out the sky. He will come down out of the clouds if you understand it. And I'll help you to understand it in a minute. Just give me a couple more minutes. Elijah Muhammad. Listen to me good now. Listen to his name, Elijah. What does the name mean? It means the sum, the total, the medicine, the doctor, the cure. God is present. He's with us. Ooh, that's the name Elijah. How does the Old Testament close? It closes talking about Elijah will come. The New Testament opens talking about the genealogy of Jesus. And a virgin shall conceive. Ooh, that's some teaching. I know what you're thinking. But virgins don't conceive. If you a virgin, you ain't conceiving. After you lost your virginity, then you conceive. Well, what is it talking about? And a virgin shall conceive. See, when you look at mathematics and you look at the laws and principles that govern nature, you know no spook gets your daughter pregnant. Now, you a modern woman, you believe in the virgin birth, don't you? Let your daughter come home and tell you she was walking by the church one day and the Holy Ghost just came upon me. You know what you're going to tell her, don't you? After you get finished knocking her upside her head for lying, you tell her, go bring the so-and-so to me. Because you know a woman is not going to get pregnant unless there's a man involved. It was no different 2,000 years ago. What you have to understand is the way the Bible is written. The scholars used poetic language. There's a real virgin, all right. But the virgin is not the girl whose hymen was not broken. The girl is a people who have never had a contact with God. If you are a woman who is a virgin, you don't know a man, then you cannot generate new life. You can only generate new life when you know a man. A people who have been the victim of lies can never generate new life until they know the truth. And just as Jesus said, he came without observation, like a thief in the night, in the dark. When the guardian of the virgin was asleep to the time, God came and made one of us pregnant with the truth to deliver a nation of people. The virgin conceived, and that child was to be called the Son of God. And whether you believe it or not, I'm a witness that the Jesus you've been looking for has been in your midst. 40 long years working, opening blind eyes, deaf ears, dumb tongues, raising up dead people, and you marveled at his work but didn't understand it. When you heard Malcolm, you were marveling at the work of Jesus. When you heard Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, you were marveling at him, but you were marveling at the work of Jesus. When you hear Farrakhan, you're not hearing Farrakhan, you're marveling at the work of Jesus, a real live Jesus. Look, now to prove his teaching, I'm almost finished. Jesus said to his disciples, greater works that I do shall you do. Which one of you are doing greater works than Jesus? He ain't no liar. It's in the book. You didn't understand it. I'm a student of a man that you didn't even know. Some of you as Christians are saying of Farrakhan, I believe he's a prophet. Talk to me. Bishops are saying it. Preachers saying it. At Farrakhan, he looks like God got him. You can stand me up 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't need no notes. Just wake me up and tell me what the subject is. Wait. And I'll talk on it like no man has ever talked on it before. Why? Because I met a man named Jesus. And he opened up my eyes. I met a man named Jesus. And he made a man out of me. I met a man named Jesus. And he raised me from the dead. Don't tell me he didn't have a master grip, because he raised me. And the proof that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. You can't say that, but I can. Ain't none of you can say that better than me, because the world haven't been on your case like the world have been on mine. But greater is he that is in me. Ain't none of you been through what I've been through. Ain't none of you under the attack that I'm under. But am I withering? Am I weakening? Am I bending? Am I bowing? No, I am overcoming the world just like my Father did. Now, I don't want you to move, because I'm at the conclusion, and I want you to hear this. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad allegedly died, they had a big funeral, and everybody said, well, that's over with. He's gone. And the nation took a turn. Just like when Moses went to the mountain. What did the people do when Moses went to the mountain? They went off, didn't they? When Moses came back, what were they doing? They were partying, baby. Moses came down out the mountain with the law, and he looked. He couldn't even recognize his own people. If Elijah Muhammad came back and looked at the followers of his son, he wouldn't even recognize that you were once his. Elijah was hardly out the door when we went back to boogieing and partying, just like it was written. Elijah was hardly out the door when my faith failed me just like it failed Peter. But my father prayed for me that my faith wouldn't fail me altogether. On this rock, I build my church. And the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I started with nothing. And I began to work. Some of the old followers of Elijah Muhammad, some of you sitting right in here, laughed when you heard that Farrakhan was going to rebuild the work of Elijah Muhammad. Some wanted to kill me. And were it not for the mercy and protection of God, I would have been dead. But God guided me. And I started to rebuild his work, not according to some new direction, but according to the same direction that Master Farad Muhammad had given him. Now I want you to hear me well. I may never talk to you like this again. Elijah Muhammad called me out of the back of the ministers. I was sitting in the back row. And he said, come sit down front. I want to look at you. Because I was and am the apple of his eye. He sat me there, and when I sat in the front, he said, no, don't sit there. He said, come, sit here. He sat me in his seat, which nobody sat in. It's the same thing that David did to Solomon. Sit in my seat. He told you all. Wherever you see him, look at him. Why should you look at me? Because I'm something for you to feast your eyes on. Because I'm a 60-year-old man that can whoop the hell out of a teenager. I'm a 60-year-old man and look better than 90% of you. Stronger than practically everybody in this room. Yeah. You can't walk with me. You won't deal with strength. Most of you young people, you can't walk with me. You can't pick up 400 pounds. But I can. And the trainer that trains me said he don't know where the end is. I believe I could pick up over 500. I don't know where the end is. I ain't trying to prove nothing. Just strong, that's all. I ain't bragging. I'm not bragging. When you see him, look at him. Because God is going to do something with him. In the face of all of the world, he's going to take a Negro from nothing and make everybody bow down to the man that he made. You may not like me, but you can't get away from me. You can't get away. You may run from me, you may duck, you may dodge, but everywhere you look, Farrakhan is coming after you. You cannot defeat the truth that is in me. You can't do it, man. Drive yourself crazy. That's right. I ain't bragging. That's not a righteous person to boast. But Paul used to boast. But he didn't boast in himself. He boasted in God. Because it's God working in me. Some of you know me a long time. But you don't know me. You're getting acquainted with me. You don't know me. My mother didn't know me. My children don't know me. My wife don't know me. She got to wake up every day and look because every day she's seeing something different. Not bad, but growing. Should be the same with you.
Yes, sir.
Elijah Muhammad, before he departed, he called me to his house. I'm just giving you a few little points and then I'm concluding. And every time he did this, there were witnesses. John Ali, still alive, he called me to his house. And he said, brother, my head pains me at night. Sometime I think I'm going to have a stroke. He said, I called you here to give you some of my burden. I kept waiting for him to tell me what he wanted me to do and give me an assignment. And at the end of the coffee talk, he said, you may return to New York. I was confused. I thought he said he wanted me to share his burden. He told John Ali, take me to the mosque and open up all the books and show me the finances of the nation, because that's what I was going to have to deal with. He was telling me something. John never took me and showed me no finances, but it wasn't for that day. He don't have to show me nothing now, because I'm making the finances. God is something the way he works. Elijah Muhammad, when I went to speak in Atlanta, Georgia, before all these black leaders from America in 1970, he told me how he wanted me to go, and I didn't agree with him. And it's the truth. I have to tell the truth. I really didn't agree with his method. He said, I want you to go and mock the leaders. He said, just mock them. Every time you look around, you having some conference. Conferencing around on what? I have something already built up for you. Why don't you all come and put some manure or whatever on the ground where you see the tree growing? It has enough fruit to feed you all if you would help it to grow. You don't need to be conferencing around trying to find a way. I've got the way. I said, man, I don't want to go down there and mock them leaders like this. I could win them, I think, with oratorical skill. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad looked at me. He knew what I was thinking. And he said, brother, I sit right here at my dining room table and I order things for the nation around the world like a god. I never go. I don't leave my table. I bought your farm for you down in Georgia. He said, I just asked a few questions and I knew it was the right thing to buy. And now you have thousands of acres in Georgia, thousands of acres in Alabama. I bought all your Holstein cows and bulls. I didn't go see them. I told the man what to look for, and if he did what I told him, we had fine cows and fine bulls. The man knew something about everything. He said, you mean to tell me I can't tell you how to go to Atlanta and make a speech that will be a winner? Well, I was through. I said, yes, sir, the apostle, I'll do what you say, sir. And he said, okay. He said, get your pencil and your paper. And I wrote down the speech. I didn't know he called Minister Abdul Rahman, who was the minister in Georgia, and he called him to Chicago and said, I gave Brother Farrakhan the speech. Now I want you to go down there and watch and see if he says what I told him. And if he says what I told him, he'll be written in the history of 40 nations. I went down there, and it was the hottest night in Morris Brown Gymnasium. I never will forget the great Whitney Young of the Urban League. He went to speaking, and they booed him off the stage. He could not finish his speech because these were black people who didn't want to hear no white talk. And you know the Iceman? What's his name? You know the great Jerry Butler. Well, you know in '70, Jerry Butler was the rage. Jerry Butler came on the stage and he had somebody white in his orchestra. They wouldn't let Jerry Butler play. They iced the Iceman. And then they called on Farrakhan. And Farrakhan came out and did exactly what Elijah told me to do. The place went up in smoke. And from that day, Farrakhan's name began to spread. I'm not a master, I'm a servant of a master. And my father is a master, and he can make a master if I submit to him. Now, just before he leaves, I'm telling you what he said to me. We were having dinner one day, and he said, brother, God has made me to take his place among the people, and I am making you to take mine. He told me I had two backing me up, Allah and himself. Then he said of my value in 3 stages. First, the speech that I made in Atlanta, he said, you are more valuable to me than a truckload of diamonds and gold. You figure out what a 10-ton truck, a big tractor trailer full of gold and diamonds, how much would you think that's worth? Would you like to have that? I sure would. He said I was more valuable to him than that truck. Then I did something else, and he said, brother, you are more valuable to me than 1,000 airplanes with 1,000 head of sheep on every plane. That's some value. Just figure one airplane that can hold 1,000 sheep. You ain't got one. That's how big that plane is. That's a jumbo. And that costs jumbo money. And if this man is more valuable to him than 1,000 planes and 1,000 head of sheep on every plane, the man got value. Then the last thing he said to me, he said, brother, you are more valuable to me than all the wealth that is in the earth. He said, for that wealth I met when I came here, and I will leave it when I'm gone, but through you I will get all of my people. He told me, I just want you to think, I'm not trying to pump myself up now. I'm making a statement so that if you make a mistake with me, you'll know why you get killed. If you make a mistake with me, you know why Allah will destroy you. Now I'm coming to something, because the deal is about to go down. You see. He said to me, brother, Sister Valora Najib sitting at his table now, is his personal secretary. I was comparing the Al-Fatiha, the opening prayer of the Quran, to the Our Father in the as Jesus was teaching his disciples to pray and use the Lord's Prayer. And when I finished with what I thought I had discovered in these two prayers, he said, yes, brother, and when I'm gone, you can sit as the father over the house in my absence. Now he's telling me that first I am making you to take my place. Then he tells me of my value to him, sits me in his seat, tells you to obey me. Listen to me carefully now. Then he says, I didn't make you. God made you for me. When you open this book, Quran, Moses was given 40 nights to work among the people. They're called nights because the people were in darkness. And after that 40 nights was over, Moses says to Aaron that he prayed for, make him to bear my burden. What did he say when he called me to his house? I want you to share my burden. That's exactly what's written in the Quran. Now, of course, these are words I can jive around and say, well, you know, that's me. But if you see me doing it, then I ain't got to say it. The fact is that that's it. Look, man. He said after the 40 nights, he said, Aaron, take my place among the people and act well and follow not the way of the mischief makers. Whose place did he say to take? Take my place. What is your place, Elijah? I am the Jesus to this people. Take my place, Peter. Take my place, Paul. You looking for dead people in the past when a living man is in front of you and you can't see? No, I want you to think. You'll never hear me talk like this again. But I want this tape everywhere. Take my place. What does that mean? You think it just means live in his house? You think it just means ride in a limousine? You think it just means be in Mosque Mariam? Take my place means stand in that place where the ultimate aim of the world is the destruction of the life of the messenger. When the messenger is no more here, then the ultimate aim of white people is to deliver Farrakhan dead. What did you hear the Jews saying in New York? Who do we want? Farrakhan. How do you want him? Dead. This ain't no joke. But let me tell you how many people want me dead. I looked at Newsweek magazine. How many of you read Newsweek? It had Farrakhan, this thing. Well, most of us don't read them kind of papers, no we? But over the last, since April of this year, white folk have been trying to position me in the media. You ain't heard my mouth. But white folk trying to position Farrakhan as though Farrakhan is now on his knees going to the Jews, begging them for some damn dialogue. And some of you, my young brothers, you hurt. And no, man, not Farrakhan. And some of these lousy hypocrites, weak punks, you want so bad to make me like the sissy that you are. But that ain't gonna happen, brother. I told the white man, damn it, you will never see my knees bow. Damn it, if you live 10,000 years, I ain't bowing to no damn cracker. And I ain't bowing to no silly Negroes either. I'm almost there. I just came back from Mexico. And while I was down in Mexico, in a quiet, reflective mood, it came to me why the white man is positioning me like this. I mean, I'm the last voice that black people have. I'm the brother, I don't care whether you're Christian, Muslim, whatever your religion is. Farrakhan is a man that you believe you can trust because I've been consistent. On behalf of black people, I have never wavered. So why are they positioning me like this? Because they are about to assassinate me. I don't want to frighten you because it ain't gonna happen. I want you to listen to me very good now. This is the point I've been getting to all night. This is no game that we playing. White folk play for keeps. Any black man that will open your eyes is an enemy to the ruling powers of this world. Do you understand that? Then it's the ultimate aim of the devil has been to kill the messengers of God. If Elijah Muhammad said, take my place, that means sit in the seat of death. You want the honor, but you don't want to live like I live. They follow me everywhere I go. FBI out in front of my door. Yes, sir. Watching my movements, listening to my phone conversations. But I say on this tape, as they look at this in televisions across this nation, you would be wise to leave me alone. You would be wise to leave me alone. They are planning my death even as I speak to you. But what they want is what they did to Malcolm and Martin. I want you to listen to this. Some of you that sit here with X's all over everything, you don't really know what Malcolm stood for. Because they have positioned Malcolm in such a way where they can use Malcolm to lead you in a path that Malcolm himself would never have gone in. When Malcolm left the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, listen to Malcolm's words. My political philosophy is black nationalism. My economic philosophy is black nationalism. I am a Muslim. And Malcolm went into quote unquote Orthodox Islam. As a Muslim, you have to accept the whole human family that believes in Islam, whether they are white, red, yellow, brown, or black. Now, when Malcolm accepted Islamic orthodoxy, notice the Caucasian will make you believe that Malcolm died as an integrationist. Come on now. They don't call Malcolm a revolutionary. They don't call Malcolm a nationalist. It is those who studied Malcolm that see Malcolm as a nationalist, but the white man has portrayed him as an integrationist who put Elijah Muhammad and his teaching down. Martin King in 1963 said, I have a dream. They didn't kill the man because of a dream. They killed him because in 68, he wasn't the same man that he was in 63. He was attacking the government's policy in prosecuting an unjust war in Vietnam. And because he went against what the government felt he should be about, they felt as a Negro leader, he should concern himself with Negro business, trying to integrate a lunch counter, a toilet, but don't meddle in government affairs. And when Martin Luther King began to meddle in the government's policy in prosecuting a war, they said it was time. And he's dead. And now you don't know where Martin was. Every January 16th is the dreamer, the dreamer. And all of you say, I have a dream, the dreamer. And what did he dream? It stuck him right there. And little black boys and little white girls will one day hold hands together. Shit. Is that what it's at? Is that where it's at now? Them little black hands are yours. Can't hold your black brother's hands, but you gonna go hold some cracker's hands before you hold each other's hand? You gonna walk with your enemy before you learn to walk with one another? How sick can you be? Now, Farrakhan reaching out to mainstream white America. It's true, I am. But for what purpose? Moses had to reach for Pharaoh. Pharaoh didn't come to Moses. Moses went to Pharaoh, but he had a message. At some point, I gotta deal with white people, brother. But I ain't gonna deal with them for no chicken and a biscuit at the back door. We got a deal for the liberation of 30 to 40 million people. And you're not going to trust no Uncle Tom nigger at that table. I'm not selling you out for no grits. And I'm not selling you out for no white woman. Elijah Muhammad taught me what the price was. And I'm on the road, I ain't deviated. So now that they've seasoned and put the word out, Farrakhan has changed. Then the hypocrites on the inside. You know, I think the minister deviating from the way of the apostle. Just a secret counsel and a little whisper. Just remember what he said when he first got started. That if he deviated, he gave the FOI the right to take his life. Murder on the inside. Because white folk don't want to kill me themselves. Because if they kill me themselves, it'll be revolution. I am bigger now than Malcolm ever was when Malcolm was alive. He did not have the following that I have. He did not have the influence. Malcolm got influence in death that I got in life. I want you to listen good now. The plot is on, brother. Why do you think they put the movie out? This is all part of the plan. They want you to fall in love with Malcolm, which is all right. But they want you to hate Elijah, which is all wrong. Because they want you to believe that Elijah killed Malcolm or the black Muslims killed him. So that you, in love with Malcolm, would hate Elijah. And therefore, since Elijah's not here, you got to hate the man that represents him. And who is that? Your last chance, black brother. You ain't got another one nowhere in sight. You don't have another one, brother. And they want you to get rid of me, thinking you're doing God a favor. Check this out. Now, the nationalist brothers, this is why I invited some of the nationalists here. I don't see the nationalist leaders, but I'm going to talk to them one way or another.
Yes, sir.
Because some of the brothers are saying some things behind my back that I want to get them to say to my face. Because every one of you that know my phone number, and you know how to call me when you need some money, and you know how to call me when you need some help. But if white folks tell you that Farrakhan is getting soft, why don't you pick up your phone and call me and ask me, Farrakhan, is it true? But the reason you don't call me is because there's a bit of envy. Over everywhere you go, you hear about Farrakhan. And he ain't calling your name. See? And when you look at that, you see Cain and Abel. You see two brothers, but one envious of the blessing of his brother, and the envy turned to hatred, and the hatred turned to murder. And each one that has murder in their heart, the devil is manipulating you right now. That's why in study guide 17, I talked about the conspiracy and hypocrisy, because some of you are unwitting dupes of a hypocritical scheme. You don't see it yet, but I hope to illuminate it for you. Look at this. The Arab world, the Muslims, they invested heavily millions of dollars to take the nation of Islam away from the path of Elijah Muhammad into the path of quote-unquote Islamic orthodoxy. They took over our mosques that we suffered and built and turned them into houses of Islamic orthodoxy. And when I stood up to represent Elijah Muhammad, as God is my witness, they offered me millions of dollars if I would not speak of Elijah Muhammad or Warithuddin Muhammad, just speak of Prophet Muhammad. But Prophet Muhammad been dead 1400 years and he didn't come get us. He's a wonderful prophet, a wonderful human being, but he didn't come get black folk. They can raise up NASA. They can raise up Ayatollah Khomeini. They can raise up all their leaders, but I can't raise up mine. Come out here, brother, son-in-law. This is Leonard Farrakhan Muhammad, and here's my son. Brother William, Supreme Captain, where is he? These three were with me. They didn't know what I was going to do. I was invited to dinner at the Saudi Arabian embassy. Were you with me, son?
Yes, sir.
Were you with me?
Yes, sir.
I want the Supreme Captain to be here. They had cooked me a meal. Come on down here, brother Supreme Captain. Come on down.
Yes, sir.
Were you with me, son?
Yes, sir.
Were you with me?
Yes, sir.
I want the Supreme Captain to be here. They had cooked me a meal. Come on down here, brother Supreme Captain. Were you with me when I went to the Saudi Arabian embassy?
Yes, sir. In Washington?
Yes, sir. Did we have dinner with them?
Most certainly did.
Lunch. And while we were eating their food, I asked this question. At first I told them Allah had revealed to me that they had planned my death. Did I say it?
Yes, sir.
I asked them, I said, would you kill me? Have me killed? Because of a theological difference? When you know that I am the voice of justice for my people? Did I say that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I said, you see all them so-called gangbangers out there? I said, I got an army that you see and an army that you don't see. And I said, if any of you ever try to hurt me, they'll rise up and kill every one of you. Did I say that, brothers?
Yes, sir.
Did they answer?
No, sir.
Did their heads drop in their plate?
Late.
See, what God reveals is the truth.
Yes, sir.
God showed me that they wanted me dead. Now you got a few brothers around. Yeah, sisters too. But I'm talking about these brothers who claim to be leaders.
That's right.
Who claim that I got their place.
That's right. Go ahead. Make it clear.
My time is up now. And they're going to come and take the mosque. And hey, it's all right. It's okay. We peaceful people. But if you want to die, we'll help you. We'll help you. Won't we? Make no mistake about it. We lost this once.
That's right.
And if you want to see death like you've never seen it before, then you make that move. You don't know me. But I tell you frankly, you'll get acquainted with me quicker than you ever thought. No. You got another brother who said, I stole his place. I've been working night and day to build this. I stole his place. But that's Cain, you see? Envy, enmity. Some in the civil rights movement, big preachers, telling other preachers, stay away from Farrakhan. Why? They're frightened at this rise. So now look at the forces. The Jews. The last meeting I had with them, they understand now. They understand real clear that they got to kill me. Because I ain't bending. They told me what they wanted, and I told them what I wanted. And I told them that if you come against me, I'll win. I said, if the government come against me, I'll win. I said, as long as I stand on truth and stand with God, Ain't a damn thing you can do with me. Now look here, brother. This ain't no plaything. You don't want my seat unless you can pay my price. They're after me. The Jews want me dead. The government wants me dead. The Arabs, some of them, in positions of power, want me dead. Then you got some Muslims in America. They came out with a name, they threw it out on television.
That's right.
Al-Fukra, a group of Muslims who are black under a so-called Pakistani sheikh. When my son-in-law and I think the Supreme Captain, I'm not sure, we were in Mecca. There was a group in Mecca that said that when they get back to America, their sole purpose would be to kill me.
I was there. Yes, sir.
You were there?
Yes, sir.
So you got a group that sees me as an enemy simply because thousands of people are being attracted to what I'm teaching. And I'm not teaching a doctrine that they can 100% agree with. So I'm an enemy that they must get rid of. So look at the forces. America, the Jews. Stand up, Brother Charles. Brother Charles and the president of Gabon and the son of the president invited me to Gabon. This is the brother that arranged it. All praise is due to Allah. Brother Charles arranged for me to go to Gabon like a head of state.
That's right.
In my own private jet. I didn't travel on no American Airlines, United Airlines, had the like biggest Air Force One, had a whole staff. And when we landed, I said to those in my party, no matter what is planned, I said, God has arranged this for us.
Yes, sir. Exactly what you said. That's right, sir.
And the two most powerful speeches of the whole conference happened to be delivered by Brother Farrakhan. One to the heads of state and one to the black leaders. Now, France is upset because I was in a French-speaking African former colony, which is still a colony. Le Monde, French daily newspaper, said I stood up with 4 veiled wives standing behind me.
That's what they said.
They called me a fundamentalist preacher. But you know what that means. I'm a terrorist and I'm gonna bomb something. And they said I insulted the African heads of state. This is the largest daily newspaper in France. And it brought to mind, Brother Charles, that cartoon that was in Esquire magazine with Charles de Gaulle, the words coming out of his mouth, were it not for this man, Elijah Muhammad, we would have a glorious future. Well, the same thing applies to me today. Internationally, they want Farrakhan dead because now in Africa, the word of Elijah Muhammad from my mouth is capturing black people all over Africa, overthrowing this Caucasian enemy. So, look at my enemies. International governments, Arabs, U.S. government, Jews. hypocrites in the ranks, so-called leaders who think I stole their thunder. They all want the poor brother dead. But who is my friend? See, Allah says in the Quran, know that the only friend of the believer is Allah, his messenger, and the true believers. Now I close. I'm saying to you, you doubt that I'm a man of God. I'm calling on God to bring down his destruction on us and on them. I'm sick of this foolishness of you and your wicked hypocrisy and this beast. When I was in Mississippi, I told them in Mississippi, I called out all the preachers. I said, you pray to your God. If your God is God, and I'll pray to my God. You pray for him to save Mississippi, and I'm going to pray that my God destroys it. The moment I said it, I said, now, if God don't back me up, then you know I'm a liar. But if God backed me up, then you better back up off of me. And now, I said, all you gotta do is watch the weather. That's what I said. And I want you to keep your eye on it. Because I don't have no power to stop no white man. But my God, who came in the person, he ain't no dead God, he ain't no spook God, he's a real, live, living God. All of you that think I'm easy pickings, then come get me and watch my God go to work. He's working now. The Mississippi is swelling. You ain't seen nothing yet. Rain coming down in torrents. On the news this morning, hail came down the size of grapefruit. You ain't seen nothing yet. Because the only way that people like you can recognize that God is that he terrorized you. This is the day of judgment on this beast. You can take it or leave it. I'm telling you, they won't put it over. I'm here, and I'm not running nowhere. But it'll be a terrible day if they unleash the Muslims. Because we ain't got nothing to lose. But our chains. I'm all you little weak-hearted ones. You better go find God and get some strength somewhere. Because this ain't no day for no weak, faint-hearted, lukewarm hypocrite. If you don't know God, you better get acquainted with him quick. Because when he cut loose, there ain't no hiding place. I'm calling on God to increase the calamities. I don't care if I die in it myself. I want to see an end to the power of this world to destroy my people and deprive them of what God intends. And I want you to get the whipping that you deserve for turning your back on truth and becoming a weak-hearted hypocrite to that which is for your own salvation. You like guns, you like to kill each other, then God will give you your own blood to drink. You get tired, and after a while you're going to want God to lay off. Said if God's wrath was not shortened for his elect's sake, not one soul would be left alive on the earth. That's what's coming down. And it ain't gonna stop, because Clinton ain't changing. He's the same as Bush and the rest of them. The government just got different faces, but the game is the same. They ain't changing. Well, if the Arab world want me dead, fine. Then God wants you dead. And let's see who will outlast who. You all gird up your loins.
Yes, sir.
And find a refuge in God. All of you. Because that's my refuge. I'm laying in his bosom. And when a little baby is in the bosom of its mother, it's so comforted there. The storm may be raging all around it, but it's peaceful in the bosom of its mother. Find the bosom of God and rest there, because that's the only refuge we have today, is God. So I thank all of you for coming out today.
Yes, sir.
The ultimate aim of this world is to destroy the messenger of God. And because that is their aim and they're trying to carry it out, they are hastening their own doom. Where will you stand? I have told you the truth. You know deep down in your soul that I have told you the truth. And you have never been no place listening to no man talk that has spoken to you as I have spoken to you this day, except you heard my teacher, Elijah Muhammad, or one taught by him. And even those that are taught by him don't put it like this. You are in the valley of decision. What are you going to do? I'm telling all you Muslims, get your act together.
Yes, sir.
You ain't got a lot of time to dilly-dally and fool around. Get it together. And you that are tinged with hypocrisy, playing double agent roles and all this kind of crap, Allah will make you manifest at a time when you least expect it. And I won't be there to save you. It's a serious time. May Allah bless us all to make it. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Woo! Got some notes, don't you? Oh, you should have some notes after that one. Go ahead and press the number 1 if you have something that you would like to share or something that stood out to you. Yeah. Sister Yolanda, go ahead. Wait. Let me give you the capabilities. There you go.
All righty then. The point that resonated in me was when the minister mentioned that they will assassinate him. So, in looking into the word assassinate, I looked up the definition: assassinate, murder an important person in a surprise attack for political or religious reasons. So what comes to my mind is that there's not going to be a murdering of a physical body. I think of the assassination of his character. Not wanting the minister to keep standing on the truth and sharing the truth. That's what comes to my mind as far as the assassination, how they put their mouths on him when they call him an anti-Semitic. And he doesn't like Jews, and he's never mentioned that. He only points out the truth. So in pointing out the truth, you want to assassinate my character because I'm being truthful, because this country and this world has been built on lies. In God we trust. How we trust in God, and they moving in the way that they're moving. Make that make sense to me. Taking the prayer out of schools. It is just all the things that they do. And as he said earlier in the lecture, I can't remember verbatim what he said, but it brought to my mind the mind conditioning in the commercials, in advertisement, in everything we do, everything we mind condition, down to the colors, down to the images that they portray. If you look deeper into, so a sister and I had depicted the Lion King. So if you Google the image of Lion King, I don't know if it's Simba or the female lion, where between the nose and the eyes, there's an image of a shapely woman's body. Just Google Lion King image. All these things that have been, most of the things that have been put before us is a mind conditioning thing. For example, if you may hear a song riding by somewhere, 5-10 minutes later, why am I singing this song? Not even realizing that you just heard it until you really think about it. So that subconscious picks up everything. So going back to the assassination, I just continue to look at on that word assassinate, and not even just the minister, but going back to what's the blue book, Brother Ben, that we have now, that the minister put out, that the mosque allowed to share now, with all the different lectures in it. Look at the assassinations of all the presidents that when they try to...
You talking about revealing the truth and exposing the synagogue of Satan?
Yeah. The things that he mentioned in there, down to, since we were talking about the Wealth Wednesday last week, the money. The people that tried to save the currency, what happened to them? Plucked over. So just that stood out for me in assassination, because we may be looking for a physical thing, but it's not necessarily a physical assassination. It's a character assassination. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Up next, we have Sister Sherry. Up next, we have Sister Sherry.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir. I'm a bear witness to what the minister was saying about people groups who wanted to take his position, who wanted to actually thinking, oh, well, we can get rid of the minister, or he's sick or whatever, and they was praising the fact of, oh yeah, we can just take over now and take the mosque. You know, we're supposed to be there anyway. It was the other people, and no mention names, but we know who we are. We know who they were. I was a young girl, but just sitting there looking at it, and I always knew that I was going to be one of them that who followed the minister, because I wanted to, although we were so called, uh, don't go over there. If you catch you over there, you're gonna be put out. You're gonna do this and that, this and that. But I always knew that I was gonna be with the minister, and just looking at back then, I just didn't understand why the Muslims wouldn't all be together, but it was the envy. I didn't know at the time it was the envy, but um, now I see, and I'm with the minister and everything, um, and when the minister is speaking about it, I can just I'm like I was a little girl. I was listening. I was paying attention. They didn't know I was paying attention, but I was, and I'm just a bear witness of the fact of what the minister was speaking about. They just thought they thought that they can just take over. But assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Yes,
alaikum
sir.
salam. Sister Randisha?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. So, just a few points that stood out to me. One was when he was talking about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I think those are the five gospels, right? If I'm correct. Let me correct me if I'm wrong. But one of the things that really, really stood out to me was when he said, when he was talking about Jesus, and one of the notes that I referenced was, if Jesus is to rise from a people and he was 2,000 years too early, who is that Jesus in our midst today? And when the minister was just talking about us being a peaceful people, it says that in our song is that, we are fighting for Islam and we will surely win. But he also talked about in study guide 17 about hypocrisy and hypocrisy as a people as well as within ourselves. Because when I think about, has Farrakhan changed, it states that change is constant. So he has to develop. It's like, a baby being in a womb for 9 months. That baby has to continuously grow. If it doesn't grow, then that fetus is dead and eventually becomes a stillborn. So those were just a few things that stood out to me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. For me, one of the first things is he said, how do you give life to the dead? And we know this is our mission. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, my mission is to give life to the dead, mentally and spiritually. So he said, well, how do you give life to the dead? And he said, to know God and his son Jesus is life. You can't be dead if you know God in Christ. The problem is you have them in name and still in a grave of ignorance. Then he ended off, to know God, Christ, self, time, and what must be done, that will give life to the dead. To know God, Christ, self, time, and what must be done, that will give life to the dead. So it makes me think, what are we teaching? And what method or plan do we have to help people understand God better, Christ better, self better, and the time and what must be done? And if we do that, we're giving life. So that was one of the first things that stood out to me. Second thing of many, many times we hear, oh, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Well, the minister makes it plain that, he's not talking about this world, because even in the scripture, it says Satan is the God of this world. God didn't love this world. He loved the world. There is a world, the world that will come into fruition after we submit ourselves, and it's like the same way it says the kingdom of heaven is within you. The more we work that and we build that kingdom of heaven and establish it on earth, that is the world of freedom, justice, and equality that's to come. But not this world that we're living in, that it says that the devil has deceived the whole world, or became a habitation of devils. So he can't necessarily love this world. It said be in it, but not of it. So he can't love this world. So the minister clarifies and says, God so loved you that was destroyed by this world or the world, not literally, this is me adding, not literally this wicked world. So those are some things that stood out. Next is Brother Abdullah or Abdullah.
Can you hear me, Brother Ben?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I got out of it when it says Master Farad Muhammad gave life back to the dead. We have to know God and know the Christ, which I'm thinking that the God is Farad and Christ is Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we are to keep our eyes on the minister because he said the minister is more important than 1,000 planes. 1,000 planes with 1,000 sheep inside of it. And it says, get up out of the white man, because the white man is giving fake gospel. The minister is giving the real gospel. Come out of the false teachings. And it says, Jesus never put himself above his Father. He had hair like, and they said Jesus had hair like lamb's wool and feet like burnished brass. Quit looking for the white man to save us, because it's not the white man. We got our own Jesus and we got our own God in the midst. That's what we need to keep our eyes on. And it says, these are the notes I have. He says, I'm not the master, but I'm serving the master. Basically, what I'm getting out of it is we need to keep our eyes on the minister to get where we're trying to go. And not only keep our eyes on them, work on ourselves as hard as we can to resurrect ourselves so we can resurrect our people, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. How you been doing? I remember that voice. Everything still going good?
Well, I've been doing fine, brother. I've been going to the mosque, and right now I'm going through the motions of doing my student enrollment, taking down my notes, watching my videos to finish over my assignments and try to get myself all the way enrolled through, Brother Ben. I thank you for that, and I thank everybody in this group, because everybody been a part of keeping me focused. I ain't been jumping on and saying much. I've been just keeping my eyes on stuff. Like I say, try to think 5 times before I say things, so I can say the right things, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for that update. For those who don't know, that's the great brother who stopped selling drugs, stopped using the drugs, and I think they said, man, we dumped him down the toilet, man.
Brother, y'all, man, with y'all get that money, and thank everybody who sent that to my mama. I've been selling oils, incense, candles, something else to keep my mind and stuff away from just where I ain't got no money, so I can focus on making some money without doing nothing illegal, brother. I've been giving my people something that's good for them, not nothing that's bad for them, brother.
Woo-wee.
And I thank y'all for that.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Man, that's good to hear.
Praise be to Allah, brother.
Yes, sir. Another thing that stood out for me is the mind of Satan. The minister says they want you to get rid of me thinking you're doing God a favor. Look at that, man. Look at that. And we got to be mindful of that, man. See, they know that the minister said we are righteous by nature, wicked only by circumstance. We're naturally good. They know our nature, but we don't know our nature. So whenever we want to do wrong, we're so good we justify our wrong. You ever notice that? Whenever you want to do something wrong, you got to justify it in your head. The minister said that's deceptive intelligence, rationalizing the disobedience. So look at how they're wickedly wise in saying they want you to get rid of me, thinking you're doing God a favor. So they will make it look like you're doing something good. Oh, I'm getting rid of a hypocrite. I'm getting rid of this. I'm getting rid of one that's doing wrong. When no, they actually doing right. So you got to be mindful of those who even around you who dropping seeds on you. Man, I'm learning this. Learning about the mind, how the mind works. You will be thinking you're doing God a favor when you're actually doing yourself a disservice. See, because the minister in the Bible, before even the minister, you heard what the Quran said? If he was to, I'm gonna just put it in my own words because I don't want to quote it wrong. If he was to destroy us for our sins and our wrongdoings, wouldn't our soul be alive? If we was to be wrung out all, we wouldn't be nothing but filthy rags, right? Let he without sin cast the first stone. In modern times, let he or she without sin press number 1 first. Now check the comments. Right? So they can be wise and say, well, let me, I know we all do wrong, so let me find something that they do wrong and let me drop that. Boom, there. Then I'm gonna drop something else on you. Boom, then I'm gonna get you there. So now you're tainting the view of the person. And now that you taint the view of the person, it can cause you to move and respond slow because that thought that's in the, we just talked about this the other day. That thought that's in the back of your mind. Well, she doing this and he doing this. Well, if I, do this, I'm helping God out. I'm doing the right thing. No. So let's be very mindful of that, man. The devil is wise. And sometimes, look, the minister said, I don't know where, but we could be in a conspiracy against ourselves unwittingly. It may be in Closing the Gap now I think about it. Unwittingly. So it may not be that you intentionally doing it, but unwittingly. Let's clear that word unwittingly. See what the minister talking about there. Unwittingly. Unwittingly means without being aware. So without even being aware, you don't even know you are aiding what they really want to happen, but you playing a major role without even, you don't even know. You're unaware. So that's just something to be mindful of, man. As the brother just said, think 5 times before you speak, but also think 5 times before you act. Really, really, really look at it, man. Because if we have an enemy that knows us, he knows what to trigger us and he knows what to move us. And what if he's so wickedly wise that he know we righteous by nature, so he ain't gonna do something that just, some of us are just, crazy, but he know the best way to get us is by making it seem like we doing something good. Man, that's wicked there, ain't it? That's wicked there. Because you really got us then. Because now there's no holding back. I know I'm doing the right thing by this. Whole time you wronged in the mug. So be mindful of our own thoughts. See, I know we think about a person. Oh, yeah, I know a nigga right now. Our own thoughts. Us, self-improvement. Let's check our own selves about how we think about others. Let's go to Sister Randisha.
Can you skip me and go to Sister Yatira first?
Sister Yatira?
Yes, family. Wow, I came in a little bit late, but the part that I came in on always was, he was closing out and he said, I actually pulled it up so I could just hear it again. But he said, I'm sick of this foolishness. And he was saying how we don't see him as a man of God. We don't see him in the proper light. And he's sick of the foolishness of what he's seeing on both sides of this judgment. Here we are not doing what we're supposed to do. The way that he clumped it, I mean, everybody was touched in that. You know, the white man and his wickedness, that is apparent, that is obvious. But what always resonates with me is when he speaks like that about us. Because I think, Brother Ben, I think you said it yesterday, you know, the best come by the words, but the rest come by the whooping. And I'm just a person, you know, the way my mind works is like, well, I don't like if there's in two groups, I'm hearing it. And if I believe what I'm hearing, if I believe that the minister is who he say he is, not who just who he say he is, but who he is, I know who he is. And if I'm saying I know who he is, then my actions are going to reflect that. Yes, doesn't mean that I'm going to be perfect, but to be striving for perfection and to know that that is an act, to believe that that is an actual end result, that I can actually get there, your action is going to look different. The way that you move is going to look different. The way that you study is going to look different. If you looking at God and saying, "Dang, Elijah Muhammad was on the tracks or the railroad, you know, drunk, and now he's God." I can too. I can be that, and to really believe it. And the passion from the minister, you know, again, when he speaks like that, it's like, you know, first man in the mirror, woman in the mirror, you know, what can I be doing more of? You know, where am I falling weak? Where am I slack at? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't never want to, weakness leads into hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? And so when he's, like I said, when he speaks like that, like I said, it makes me first think of self. And then for him to say that he's praying now for the destruction. And I'm not really good with that research part, but I started looking into, that was in 1993, that lecture. So I went to look to see what I could find. Like, you know, what things was happening in 1993. When did certain things happen? I probably have to ask my husband too. But I think that, you know, some of the things that we did see more of, even now, you know, I know it came later in the 2000s, but the way that we start getting killed in the streets by the police, you know, that's been an increase. I think that came after, like, right after another lecture, when those start to happen more. But I'm just looking at how his words, whether he's saying watch the weather or to say that he's praying for the destruction, because he is sick of the hypocrisy, he is sick of the weakness, he is sick of the evil. You know, how long can a good and righteous man who is on his post be around the foolishness that he sees that we continue to do? Damn white man. I mean, we already know, like, it's no need to really focus on, you know, when the white man go. Because if the white man was taken off the planet today, his ways would still be carrying on through a lot of us. So for us to not be where we could be, not to be striving hard, you know, I think that striving is another word that kind of gets thrown around. You know, I'm striving, but are you? You know, am I? I'm not making this a you thing. Am I? You know, we say it, but are we, to the point that the man of God is saying to us, I'm praying. I'm praying for that whooping. I'm praying for that destruction because it's time, and I'm sick of it. And what are we doing to actually properly respond to the call of God? That was stuck out to me. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Sister Aina.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yes, Brother Ben, when you was uh, talking about the thoughts and how you been studying the thinking patterns, so forth and so on. Let me tell you what happened to me. So lately, or periodically, right? I could just be sitting down with believers or anyone, and all of a sudden, it seems out of nowhere, like a evil, like this just crazy evil thought come up. I'm like, I mean, nobody knows it, but I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Right? All right. So the first time I'm like, okay, but as it started happening, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? So I'm researching myself, and then, I say, this is how I approach things now, that I've been in the nation for a while. So I said, okay, don't get on the phone and call nobody. Go to the source, go to Allah first, right? So I started talking to him. I'm like, yo, and this is like over weeks and months, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, how is this happening? Right. So after I'm thinking about it a while, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, the prayer, the dawn. How can I solve this problem? It's the dawn, right? So I go to the dawn in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn from the evil of that which he created, from the evil of that which he has created, and from the evil of intense darkness when it comes, and from the evil of those who cast evil suggestion and firm resolution, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. I'm like, yo, is there people out there casting evil suggestion and firm resolution? And so I'm thinking about that. So now I know when I come across that, I'm saying that prayer regardless. We supposed to say it anyway. And the fact that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan gave us that prayer as mandatory, that's telling us something. If he giving us that as mandatory, that's definitely, we got to look at that and study that. Why did he give us that as a mandatory prayer? So then I get on the phone with my friends, believers and whatnot. I'm like, yo, is there people casting evil suggestions and firm resolution? So I just wanted to share that. I haven't come to the conclusion if it's the people, is it coming from me? I don't know what's going on, but I know I'm in the fight and I'm in it to win it. And that's what I have to say. Sound like.
Walaikum salam. A good thing to do, I think, is to see what see what the root of the thought is. And was a seed dropped on you? Or was something said that caused you to doubt? And then get to the reality of the root of the thought. Was it the truth? Was it not the truth? Man, this stuff is fascinating, man, as you learn more about the mind, man, how I really you really begin to understand evil suggestion. It can come through the form of a question. Man, you sure you want to go to Savior's Day again? I mean, you can watch it. I'm watching it from home, boy. Now, nobody said don't go to Savior's Day. But, man, that thought, that just question, they just dropped it on you. Then the minister said that slinking devil, how it'll say something like a whisper and then hide. What are those thoughts and what's the origin of those thoughts? And if we don't deal with them, they don't go away. They stay there until something happens to water them. Yeah, something happened to water them. I'll share what I was about to say later. But yeah. Just be mindful of our thoughts. And the minister talks about, and this ain't got nothing to do with what you just said, but the minister talk about being the foremost, and being the foremost kinda will help us with this situation as the hypocrites do what they do, agents do what they do. Because if there was agents then, and the way that the nation is spreading now via social media, and so many people are becoming more self-aware and they're learning who the minister is, they're able to watch his lectures without interference. They're not just blinded by the clips that's being put out there. Hundreds of people are saying, man, I understand now. You can't make me believe that they don't have some type of something together trying to stop it, just like they tried to stop it back then without social media. So what the foremost would do when somebody brings something is stop them. You said what? Oh, wow. Man, where did you get that from? Okay. Wow. Well, maybe we should take it to them and see what they say. See, that'll stop somebody from That'll stop somebody from doing all that, dropping the seed on you. Cause you never know, man. I don't know. Did we listen to it here? Do y'all remember when the minister said what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's wife said? Oh, he's just jealous. He ain't gonna let you help him. Do y'all remember that the minister said that seed affected him later on when he was dealing with something? That thought came back up. Man, these seeds is powerful, man. They'll lay in your mind and you will think, oh, I ain't thinking much of it. But later on, when something takes place in your mind, go back to that. And now that thing is exaggerated and it blows up and it taints your thought and it taints your perspective. Man, you can't let your mind be played with like that. I forgot what we was listening to when the minister said that, but I remember him saying that. He said, man, that thought came up. You know what I mean? And we don't say nothing to the person. Oh, okay. All right. You know, they just sharing with you, but you don't know how that's affecting you. You don't know how that may be affecting the God that may be coming through that person, that sister, that brother. And now you can't even digest it or hear it properly because you got what's in your left ear. You got what's in the back of your mind about them. Nigga just up there tight. Nigga ain't. See? You ain't gonna say it, but it's in your mind. It's kind of like, you ever been in a situation where you feel a certain type of way about a person and you totally misinterpret what they say? Or we was talking about this past weekend with one of the brothers. He said, man, you know, some people think that you're yelling at them, but you're not even yelling. He said, when you become wise, you say, I'm sorry for yelling. And then you just lower your voice, but you know you didn't yell. But the way the person is viewing you, they can literally interpret that you're yelling at them, but you're not even yelling. You're talking normal. So it's just those type of things, man, as you kind of, as we grow in wisdom, we be more mindful of things. And then look, as we're taught, it's not what goes in the man that defiles him. It's what comes out. So one person can hear something and handle it away, and then another person can hear something and it defiles them. It begins to come out of them. It affected them a certain way because they're not as developed yet. So when I came into the nation, Brother Malik, I always said, protect your spirit. Protect your spirit. Protect your spirit. Keep your eyes on the minister. Keep them blinders on. Keep them blinders on. Keep them blinders on. Don't let nobody affect your spirit. Don't let nobody affect your spirit. Because, man, it can happen. It can happen, man. Something as simple as, damn, boy, it's hot outside like that, and y'all gotta cover up like that. Then you begin to think, oh, well, damn, you know what I mean? Is something wrong with me covering up? I got this suit on in the summertime, or sister, I got this headpiece on, and, you know, I mean, I would like to, kind of let loose a little. What's wrong with if some? See, the thoughts is coming now, but you don't know. It's just from just a little seed that's dropped on you. Little Instagram comment, you didn't respond to it, but that comment shook you up a little bit. Oh, don't let it shake, man. Go study it. Go get your answers so that you can be firm in what you're doing. Because when the minister go, man, and when he talk about these dark hours, man, I don't know how it's gonna be. But man, I can only imagine. Hell, it's already dark for you. It's really already dark. Minister still here. Some people in darkness right now. Some people, whenever we hear that, 3 years you're gonna be in dark. They said, damn, it can get more darker than this. Jet black. See? So imagine when he gone. So man, you better while he's still here and we can get some of that, drink some of that water. Man, we better drink and study and do what we can do and build ourselves up for that time. Shoot. So let's go to let's do next. Let's go to I don't know who next. Let me scroll on. Sister Fatima.
Yes, sir. I sound like I'm family. Brother Ben, you make a strong point, and and I am totally, definitely in agreement with as you're speaking about the mind and how, as I've grown, I bear witness that when you're in the third dimension, and which is the lowest frequency of our, spiritual realm, you have what you have like fear, you have anger, you have guilt, you have jealousy, envy. You have all of those, aspects of your mind. But as we grow into the fourth, fifth, and 4D, 5D, and beyond in our spiritual realm, then we come into courage, and then we come into being able to reason with ourselves and mathematically deduct that the truth as we can receive it, and give it back out. And then we come into love and freedom. Love, when you can love unconditionally, or when you can love yourself and love God in you and love each other and see God in each other, you've grown. And that is so important, because as I was listening here, when the part that kind of stood out to me is when the minister says he's not telling, like, the Christians, if you're Christian, he's not saying for Christians to come out of Christianity, but to know the truth about Christianity, or to know Christianity and its right perspective, and to be able to know and to come out of this world, and know the real image of God, and get rid of the false images of Jesus. And so how when we begin to spiritually decipher or discern, as we're growing, we will begin, our awareness will begin to peak, and then we'll be able to, because he said that Christianity gives us power. So when we have the true understanding of Christianity, we can remain in that in that whatever our belief, but yet we will be operating from a whole nother dimension, a whole nother understanding of Christianity. And so also too, what stood out was when he said that the white folks they tried to position him. They want to position him. I think someone touched on it a little earlier before, where they wanted to position him as if he was wanting to sell us out. But then, then he also spoke about how they positioned Malcolm, Malcolm X. And so then, in understanding how they positioned Malcolm, as if he was an integrationist. And then he came on down where he spoke about how they had positioned Dr. King, and where they stuck him in our mind. All we can remember of Dr. King was he had a dream. They don't tell the truth about how the reason why they killed him was because he stood against the war that they were into, and they were financing, and they wanted him to, as the minister said, stay to Negro business and stay out of government business. And so now everyone thinks that Dr. King was an integrationist, and all we ever want to do when we have a dream is to rub shoulders with white people, and this is going to lead them to heaven. That's going to be the paradise here on earth. So I thought that was really important, because our people we are so misled and deceived in the wrong way about everything, just the least little things. And these are not little things. Like the minister said, this is not a game. They do seek to kill him. And not only that, they seek to kill all God's messengers. And if our heart is to be a messenger of truth, then think we're not to be killed too. They seek to kill each and every one of us that stand on truth. So all of those were some of my thoughts. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Another thing that stood out for me is that the minister said that he said, as long as I stand on truth and stand with God, ain't a damn thing you can do with me. Man, that's cold there. He said, I don't have no power to stop no white man, but my God who came in the person, he ain't no dead God, ain't no spook God. He's a live, living God. You would look at the minister, man, and say, oh, master teacher. The great Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? But then you hear him at the top say, I'm not a master. I'm a servant of a master. Now look at what we can become when we just become a servant of a master. Look at what we can become. Now, if he's a servant of the master, a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he told us that he didn't give me he said, I didn't give you no different teaching than I gave everybody else. Lack of better words, paraphrasing. So if we got the same teaching, and then the minister, look at the point that the brother made, Brother Remy, I think. Yeah, Brother Remy said this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had one backing him. Master Farrakhan Muhammad didn't have nobody backing him besides the originator. We got three backing us. When my son first met the minister, man, I wish I knew the minister's word verbatim. And he gave him this picture. It was during COVID. The minister had just took a picture. The minister had just took a picture with 2 Chainz. The minister had just took a picture with 2 Chainz and I think T.I. And he didn't, because it was COVID, right? They didn't like shake hands, and I noticed that. It's a weird. I never told this story before. I noticed that like they didn't. It was like, you know what I mean? Like they took pictures like apart because it was like 2020. This is actually July 4th. So when I came, my son was able to give him the picture, and the minister said, "Get that man some money." I remember because my son just kept saying that the whole day after. Get that man some money. So he gave him a $20 bill for the picture that he drew for him. I'm losing my point. I hope I don't lose it completely because now I'm into I'm picturing the story. So yeah, if y'all can help me remember what the point I was making. So when I was coming up to take a picture with him, I'm thinking, okay, it's COVID. Let me, I'm kind of standing off. I'm just, the minister said, give me your hand. So he actually takes my hand and takes the picture. I forgot the point I was making. So y'all help me out. But
Talking about a servant.
Huh?
You were talking about a servant. That was the last part I recall.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that. COVID, the picture, my son.
It was good, though. It was good.
No, I want to finish the point. It was a point I was making. I brought that up for a reason. Get that brother some money. No, not get that brother some money. That was the story. I was telling a story for a reason. 3 minutes. Oh yeah. Thank you, Rio. So when I was taking the picture and when we was taking the picture and my son gave him the picture, he said he got 3 back in him. That's what he said. That's the point I was making with that story. He said he got 3 back in him. So my point is, we got 3 backing us. The minister had 2 backing him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had 1 backing him. We got 3 backing us. So whenever we're going through a trial, man, or whenever we're going through life, we should have that same attitude that the minister has when he says that, as long as I stand on truth, and stand with God, ain't a damn thing you can do with me. And if there is something that you do with me, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in his time, it's only by Allah's permission. You can only do what Allah permits. And if Allah permits it, hey man, so be it. I submit my will to his will. So that's very powerful as we navigate through things, as we grow in life. We know the more valuable we come to God, we become to God, the more valuable we can become to Satan. The more the higher we are in the eyesight of Satan. Let me say that. That's a better way of putting it. So we will then be attacked. We'll be tried for doing good, for becoming a better person, for doing God's work that we say we want to do. But if we keep our hands in his hands, we understand the time and what must be done. We understand the principles and how the minister move, and we understand Allah's perspective, and we learn how to handle situations through the study guides that we have. So we got these study guides for a reason. We got these books for a reason. So we have here Growing into a Savior and a God. That's the FOI book. I'm pretty sure the sisters, you got your books. You know, we got the self-improvement study guides 1 through 9. Then you got 10 through 21 or 22, I think we got now. All those, this is for us to study and be able to know how to respond and how to think through certain situations. We can't be spooky and say, well, I just depended on God. No, the minister used wisdom. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this, so I'm responding this way. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us so I'm going to move this way. So I don't want us to think that this is a spooky thing. Now, I'm just going to seek refuge in Allah. Seek refuge in Allah how? So when we have our supreme wisdom lessons, right? Can we look at some of them real quick? Let's look at one real quick. Let's look. Let's bust up some of this spookism, man. Cause we can't say, oh, I don't believe no mystery God, but then we begin to be spooky saying, well, I'm just seeking refuge. How? Wow, what that mean? I don't know, brother, just, seeking refuge. What does it mean? See, how you do that? What is it? What does refuge mean? You see? So let's look at this. So let's look at just one example. Let's look at let me give you an example. What am I looking for? All right, I got a good one. So, why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? Because the earth belongs to the original black man, and knowing that the devil was wicked and there would not be any peace among them, he put him out in the worst part of the earth and kept the best part preserved for himself ever since he made it. Then it goes into the best part. But we're taught that we're not supposed to just look at why. He said, why did God ask why? So he can raise us up into his thinking, up into his mind, right? So why isn't the devil settled on the best part? Because the earth belongs to the original black man, and knowing that the devil was wicked and there would not be any peace among them. Well, what does that mean? Well, whenever I'm in a situation, maybe modern time, and I'm dealing with one who is contrary to the will of God, devil, using deceptive intelligence to rationalize the disobedience, devil, grafted, devil, and there would not be any peace amongst them. If there won't be any peace among them, then hey, we won't let them settle on the best part. We won't let them settle over here with us. Well, how do you handle your friends? How do you handle certain people in your life? When you notice that one is causing mischief that may cause the shedding of blood, they're going around telling lies. Well, if they're not able to settle here because there won't be any peace among them, then this is how we must move in our life. Then look at this. Then why did we run Yaqub and his maid devil from the root of civilization over the hot desert into the caves of West Asia? Why? Okay, well, let's get the answer. Because they had started making trouble among the righteous people telling lies. Well, in 2024, are there people among us today that are causing people, the righteous, causing trouble because they're telling lies, telling one side one thing, telling another side one thing? So what must happen? What do we do then? We ran them from the root of civilization. Then it says they accused the righteous people, causing them to fight and kill one another. How many beefs? How many arguments have gone on because somebody came and dropped the seed? Dropped the seed on them. Look at that. So look at this. So as I was telling you, I was studying some courses at the org, and there's one called third party law. And it says, and it states that whenever there's a conflict, an ongoing conflict, not just a beef or disagreement, but an ongoing conflict, there's a third party involved. Now, the way that they put it is neat. I mean, it's dope. And they give like practical exercise to help you both find out who the third party is that's keeping the beef going, that's keeping the conflict going. But when you read our supreme wisdom, it's basically saying the same thing if we but knew. Why did we run Yaqub and his maid devil from the root of civilization? So that person who is causing mischief or starting trouble amongst the righteous people, telling lies, they need to be ran away. But in their exercise, they give a practical way of doing it. Hey man, you confront the person. You remove that person, and once you remove that third party, then those two are able to now have conflict resolution. So the brother that was auditing me, the brother was telling me about a situation where he was in a situation and him and the other individual was going through something, and they end up going through the process of atonement. Well, after you go through the process of atonement, they thought, okay, things is going well. But the third party, which usually is unknown, or it says it's fantastic or it is incredible, meaning that you wouldn't believe this person could be the third party. So that's why they remain unknown. So you can atone with a person and think it's all good. But if you have not found or located that third party that actually is causing this, it'll start again. It'll unravel again. So I'm like, whoa, that's deep. But then when I'm looking at the supreme wisdom lesson, when I'm looking at this, it's essentially saying the same thing. Why did we run Yaqub? So when we look at seek refuge in Allah, man, what wisdom did he give us? We going, like the minister say, we trying to learn this. We learning this. We going through this. We want to get some more high science. We want to be up there in the stars, and we want to argue about which star and the moon and Pluto and damn, boys, how you on your student enrollment? Do you understand it? How are you on your lessons? Do you understand it? We want to be way up there in the galaxies. Boy, you don't even understand your eyeballs, boy. You don't even understand why your elbows is your elbows. Your knees is why your ankles do what it do. You trying to figure out you trying to be deep. Man, what we already got that we think we know, we think we done mastered, or I done heard that before. I can quote that. I know all the. But do you understand it, how you can use it? Do you understand the meaning of it? Have we looked at the problem book? I know we look at that problem book and say, oh man, this is hard. But I read an article where Brother Jabril, I think, asked a question, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, just keep reading and reading and reading and reading and read it. And as you keep reading it, you get understanding. You understand the meaning of it. You get it. And as I'm saying this, y'all, wow. As I'm saying this, that reminds me of how they teach it. You do something over and over and over again, and you come to they call it a cognition or a realization. Same thing. He said at that time, before that technology was even made, read it. And then he's saying essentially you come to a realization of something. You get it. You understand it. I was reading an article the other day about Mother Tanetta was talking about the 13 ducks. One of the problem books talk about the 13 ducks. See, we don't know what all that mean. You know, we can't say I know this is exactly what it means. But man, we going to everything else. We trying to, you know, but man, we got something right here that the God has given us. And if we get this and we drink this in and we begin to understand it, I believe. Now, I may be wrong. Let me put that disclaimer out there. I may be wrong. But I speak for myself. When you hear seek refuge in Allah and don't nobody explain it, man, well, I don't know what that means. Let me not speak for y'all. I speak for me. Seek refuge in Allah. What that mean? I ain't the first time I heard the word refuge was when I joined in. I never heard the word refuge. I heard the word refugee. But maybe is that the same thing? I don't know. You know, when you get saved, if you know, if there's a tornado, tsunami or something, we got refugees. I don't know. But you just hear, oh, just seek refuge in Allah. But what does it mean? How do we do that? We do it, seek refuge with what? See? So for me, man, this me. I'm just speaking for me. Seeking refuge for me is, man, I'm knowing that I'm conscious of his word. And when life hits me, I'm able to seek refuge in the wisdom, because I remember the minister saying it's not the flesh that makes you God. It is the wisdom. It is the wisdom that's eternal. So I'm thinking, okay, I got to gather the wisdom that came in the material, but I got to get that and understand that and have that so that when I'm going through certain circumstances in my life, although it may be hard, although it may be dark, the minister says that darkness is not real. He said it is the absence of light. So if we know that light is knowledge and knowledge is light, then what I got to have is the light that's going to guide me through these dark times that I'm in. I can't seek refuge in no damn spook now. I can't call no spook and say, come hold me and coddle me. No, man, this ain't spookism here. So now, man, this is a real God, man, and real knowledge and wisdom that we gotta use. So when we send a minister saying, oh, I'm depending on my God and back at me, what does that mean? He said we gotta know God, know self, know the Christ, the time and what must be done. I gotta know something. So let me study. Let me gather this, so that I'm prepared when these things come in my life. I done woke some people up. We got some numbers now. Okay. Brother Clarence. Brother Clarence, let's go.
Can you hear me, beloved?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Assalamu alaikum, beloved. Beautiful, beautiful. I had really forgot, brother, because you had went to so many other points. But I do hear, brother, some clearance in your experience with the Ingrams and the 10-minute laughter that you had and what you had said. They can't kill me. You thought I wasn't paying attention, huh, brother?
Oh, you were listening.
Oh, yes, sir. And I can see you bearing witness to it every day now, ever since you've come into that wedding. And it has caused you a lot of relief, and I can see it, brother, on you and hear it in you, beloved. I just wanted to let you know that. But I do remember now what the sister was saying in 1993. Our minister don't miss, by the way. In 1993, when he said, watch the weather, guess what it was called? It was called a storm of the century. A look back at one of the strongest winter storms to ever hit the East Coast in March of 1993, a storm now called the storm of the century, delivered a devastating combination of heavy snow, high winds, tornadoes, and coastal flooding to states up and down the eastern seaboard. That was 31 years ago after the minister had spoken, said, watch the letter. I just wanted to bear witness to how our minister don't miss when he said, watch the weather, Allah. is acting on what the minister says that he's praying for. Thank you, beloved, for giving me that time.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Sister Gwen.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Listening to the minister and what you just said, and I believe one of the other sisters came in and said about our minds. In study guide number 7, it says, beloved brothers and sisters, as we look deeper into ourselves, we must not fear what we see, so that we only look at the study guides on the surface and present our bodies to the study guides. But we are afraid to look deeper and even deeper in ourselves. And I think that's how some people end up being hypocrites, because they only go so far in the study guides. And then, like you said, they feel like I already heard that. I don't need to hear that no more. But he said, I desire that every one of you renew your commitment to this study. So that means that we ought to keep on the study guides on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Keep Allah in your mind on an hourly basis, a minute basis. So that way, a lot of the things that is put in front of us will not be taking us down. He also said, if you discover a spot within yourself or a blemish, do not retreat. Look at it with joy, as though you have found precious gold or a precious stone. For every time we find a spot or a blemish and apply spot remover, we are a step closer to manifest proof that Allah has intervened in our lives. So again, we have to keep looking at the study guides, keep watching the lectures, because that's the only way we are going to ascend to be half a fourth of what he is. And that's all I wanted to say.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Sister Randisha?
Yes, sir. So another point that stood out to me was the seen and the unseen, when the minister was talking about, that these are soldiers that you see right here, but he also has soldiers within the prison. So that was another point that stood out to me, is that, sometimes, like I was reading in the comments, that we try to be so deep, or we try to belittle people, as Brother Nori said. Sometimes we need that confirmation for self. So that was another point that stood out to me.
Praise be to Allah. And let me be clear. When I say deep, I don't mean we can't be smart. I'm saying sometimes, like the minister say, it's just intellectual masturbation. You just learn it so you can just argue. You just studying just to study something. Like, you don't have no purpose to it. It's just, brother, do you know why the dirt is red right here, but brown right here? Brother, I don't give a damn about no sand. You know what I mean? It's probably significant, but man, what that got to do with me and my struggle that I'm dealing with right now? Brother, do you know why paint, brother, smells the way it smells, and which fume? Brother, man, come on, man. Brother, do you know why, the mountain is slanted slightly to the 32 degree? Brother, God, so that's what I mean when I, go learn if it's going to help your life. You know what I mean? If it's going to help us out and it's going to move, improve our well-being, cool. But man, this should be, you just studying topic. You got your health bad, money management all out of whack. We out of shape, but we ain't studying none of that. We studying, the atom of the fingernail, brother. That, sister, you understand the atom that's in that fingernail? Brother, do you understand that if you need to go do 15 push-ups, how you do 15 push-ups? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about practical stuff, man. That's gonna make our life better. Sister Yatira, brother, sister be deep, man, on that.
Okay.
really the atom in your fingernail. Let's get into it. No, praise be to wow, that is too funny. Here you go, honey. So I took some notes on what you were saying earlier, and then sister that spoke after you. The light 3 times when you said that made me think about belief in Allah, and the minister talked about how there's like it's like compounded light. Belief, the word itself is light, belief in the word is light, and then if I'm not mistaken, paraphrasing, but I think it's the doing, the moving out on the word. It's like light on light on light. So that was just a thought to you speaking on that. My husband, I was just speaking on what you said about Brother Jabril. Actually, we was listening to his lecture. It's called What is the Duty of the Civilized? I think it says civilized man. I think it's part 2 though. And he's going into that very story that you were saying that you read, and he was saying how the most honorable Elijah Muhammad had been telling them to read their lessons, to get into their lessons. And he was like, they hadn't done it. So at this moment, he is in his presence, and he tells him to read a specific number, and he had him read it again. He's like, so I did. He told me to read it again. So I did. He told me to read it again. So I did. He said that went on for an hour and a half, him reading this one problem. And then he said, I think he said he was obviously weighing on him, he was getting tired or something like that. And he said, but then he started to see it differently, and he was like, but this is what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has been telling us to study our lessons. Then to your other point, well, not to your other point, but on that same subject, the minister in another lecture, I forgot what it's called at the moment, but he said that, what was it that he said about the lessons? Oh, he was saying how the 5%ers, they survived Wallace because they were rooted in the lessons. And he said, now some of y'all might say, aren't we the 5%ers? He said, I mean, yeah, you can consider yourself that. But I'm talking about the ones who called themselves that. They survived Wallace because they were rooted in the lessons. Praise be to Allah. So that was that part. 2 more things. You was just talking about self-improvement. What was I going to say about Farrakhan? Farrakhan. Oh, I said that part. Self-improvement. Farrakhan, the blueprint, the how-to. I'm just like you in that regard, Brother Ben. When it comes to those words, people say, seek refuge in Allah. The other one for me was make Allah sufficient. I'm like, I was just an atheist. I just did not believe in God. Now you tell me to make him sufficient? How? I don't understand how to do that. You got to give folks processes and stuff like that. So when I read, just the last 2 days, I had this epiphany because I just started looking at the minister. When I used to go through stuff with my mom, I used to find stuff on the minister. How do I deal with this? Then I'm hearing, so I'm studying the lecture, problems in relationships. Now I'm, marriage 1, and I'm like, okay, well, how do you handle marriage? And that one failed, but I still was going into well, what did the minister do? What did he say? Hearing stories of how Mother Khadijah. I was looking at the problems that I had in my life, and I turned to the minister to see, well, what was the thinking that he had? What does he say about it? And how am I supposed to act? How am I supposed to feel? And how do I get out of it? Right. So that was my stepping stones. And then just the other day, over these last few days, I was like, that's literally what self-improvement is, the study guides. I said the self-improvement study guides is literally the minister's taking his steps to everything. Sister Ava, may Allah be pleased with her, comes and listens to the minister talks and helps to break down the insight of what these processes are that he went through. The study guide is, in other words, the golden brick pathway of us to follow. We need blueprints. We need the how-to. How do you go from this to this? Okay, get on this. When you go through this thing of mixed feelings and controversy, well, let's see what the minister had to say about that. Let's see what experiences he went through, because ultimately he is the same as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We are watching him become God in our midst. Most of us wasn't around when the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was presently among us, but we are watching the minister become God in our face. So the study guide is like that golden pathway to become a God. When you get hit with a trial, hurry up and go to the study guides, grab it immediately and say, oh, okay, I'm dealing with disappointment. I feel like, am I becoming a hypocrite? Am I being hypocritical in my tendencies? Go to the book so you can, like the sister mentioned, oh, is that a blemish? Okay, let me hurt. I got the perfect polish remover. That's what the self-improvement is. And it just came to me listening to, on my birthday, I listened to the minister's 90th birth anniversary. Go upstairs. The birth anniversary of the minister. And he was going into, again, follow me, follow my footsteps. So all of this coupled into the self-improvement class and these conversations, I look at this power call, which is so lit, because you got people in here of like minds talking amongst each other like this. It would be so hard. Like, this is like a classroom of gods right here. Not perfect gods, but we on our way. But for somebody to try to come in here, whether they want to try to drop an evil suggestion, by whatever method, it's going to get ate up. It's not even going to be able to last because of the students that are present. Can't nobody come in here and just say something and oh yeah, that hurt. Now that ain't even like, that couldn't even happen. You know what I'm saying? So just looking at how powerful this power call literally is, man, praise be to Allah. I'm done. Assalamu alaikum.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Sister Diabra.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So I took what the minister said in this lecture personal to me. So my takeaway is our minister said his mission is and not was, it's to give life to the dead. He said to know God and his son Jesus, you can't be dead if you know Christ. And he said we could have God's name, Assalamu alaikum sister, Assalamu alaikum brother, or whatever, and still be in the grave of ignorance because we have not applied the teachings to give life to ourselves and to the dead. And how much am I doing fishing? How much fishing am I doing? So our minister said, come out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her sins. He said Moses didn't integrate his people. He also gave us the direction how to come out of her. He said, come out of their names. That is most important for us to come out of their names because it identifies who we are. And he said, come out of Christianity because family Christianity is mixed up with truth and falsehood and also with the watered down message that it brings. He said the preachers don't want to condemn the world because they are a part of the world. And the minister said, James the apostle said, the love of this world is enmity with God, and enmity is intense hostility. So that's why Jesus said, be ye in the world, but not of the world. And he also told us to get out of the old Christianity when he said that he told us a man came to his mother's home to sell her a Bible, and she noticed there were no Black people in the Bible with Jesus and the apostles at the Last Supper. So she questioned him on that, and he told her that they were in the kitchen cooking. And I can literally see his mother running that man out of her home with the swiftness. And lastly, in closing, the minister said Elijah is the sum, the total, the doctor, the cure. He is God in presence, and he is with us. And I thank Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for recognizing Master Farad Muhammad, because that is the reason why we all are sitting here on this beautiful power call in the name of Islam, because we heeded the message. And I thank Allah for the Mahdi leaving in our midst the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who they are backing him, the two of him. And just like it was said, they are backing him and he's backing us. So we have three backing us. That was so beautiful. And that's all I have. Assalamu alaikum.
Praise be to Allah. Well, we have to close out. Family, thank you all for your feedback.
and everything that you guys shared today. We will be back, inshallah, in the morning at 6 a.m. Central Time. Assalamu alaikum, and y'all have a black-tastic day. Peace.
Well,
Is Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.